Alright, so in this tutorial, it's where I left off previously, and in here I'm gonna talk about constraints. So, what I'm gonna do is make sure that I'm on rigging. I need to make sure constraints. I'm gonna tear it off from here. The main one, right, is parent constraint. I'm gonna explain about parenting constraints. This is not parenting as in like how these guys are parented, right, where you press P. It's different. It is not that. It is literally a functional process or tool or whatever you want to call it, and yeah, it's different from pressing P for parent. It's totally different, totally different. And here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just click on the option box for it, reset, right? Ooh, that should have been checked on. Why was that not checked on? Huh. Yeah, that would have been bad. So you reset it just to make sure, and maintain offset should be on. Want to remember? Yeah, and then everything else leave alone. It's fine. And I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna do Control Shift left click, so it's there. So this is the parent constraint. Right. I'm gonna close it. And in 1 second. So with that being said, I'm gonna start off with, I guess, up here. Yeah, it's better to start off from the outside going back down. Right. So that way we have a bit of a sequential order and organization, and making logical sense step by step. So what happens is, the big picture is that you grab the controller, for example out here, right? Do not grab just from the middle, right? Don't randomly grab stuff. You want to start from the outside just to be safe and work your way in. So the two things that we will be working with are like I said, the controller, which is here, this guy right here. As you can see, there's no data in here, right? As you can see, it is connected in the ladder system of the controllers, right? So you grab the controller, right? Then I shift select the bone, related bone. You grab the controller first, you shift select the bone, like that. As you can see, I'm gonna crack this open, holding shift and you left click on the box. It expands everything. So here's the controller, H left arm control 05. Here is the corresponding bone, H left arm joint 05. See how the naming, it pays off here and now, right? So all that annoying grunt work is for the better good. Here I'm going to go and like I said, parent constraint. Again, constraint, parent constraint, option box, everything's reset, and then you hit apply. Once I hit apply, you'll notice something different happening. So as you can see, under the joint, this joint, I have little sub unit connected, and it says that this joint is together also with now a parent constraint. This is the red colored chain link icon that shows that there is a parent constraint being applied. Basically what this means is that this red dinky looking icon looking thing is saying that something has been linked to it, right? And this thingamajig parent constraint is where now this before this controller, right, it was not influencing the bone, right? Now it will influence the bone because the bone is, this bone is now constrained, locked up to the controller via the parent constraint thingamajig here. Do not move this around, leave it the hell alone, just leave it alone, leave it alone. Now if I grab this, if I yank on it, ta-da, now the bone is being constrained to the controller via a type of a constraint called a parent constraint. There are other types of constraints. You have point constraint, orient constraint, scale constraint, aim constraint, blah blah blah. These are the different constraints. Parent constraint is this one. What parent constraint does is that it's a very useful constraint where I can yank on the controller. Again, this is the controller, not the bone. I am not yanking on the bone because you'll see that the bone is not highlighted, right? The controller is manipulating the bone via the parent constraint. Not only can I move it up and down, left and right, if I rotate it, the controller, you'll notice that the bone nub also rotates. So I can grab this controller, and if I type in 0, it goes back to normal default. This is why having transformations frozen is important, because you always want to be able to go back to your default state, like so. But if this controller was compromised with data before everything else was compromised with data, and then you do the parenting constraints, everything's compromised. You cannot go back to your default if there's compromised data in here, because it needs to be clear and clean. So I'll just explain that again. Anyhow, so that's the deal. Now it'll move around. Now it will rotate, right? But you won't scale. You cannot scale the bone. You can scale the how it looks for the controller. You can see here, right? But we're gonna hide this later on. So that's what's happening. All right. So with all that rambling out of the way, next thing I want to do is grab this controller. As you can see here, I'm gonna shift select the corresponding bone here. You can see the name. You can see the name. So you select the controller first. You shift select the bone. You do another parent constraint, which I just did. You will know that you did the right selection order because this is in blue. Blue means that there is a parent constraint being applied to the H left arm joint 04. So one of the things to know, and that will help to understand what the hell is going on here, because it's easy to get confused, is that the bones have highlighted in blue. I repeat, if I select the bone, see the bone nub for this controller, it's in blue. Ignore this information here. This is just the initial placement of that bone nub on the Y. So ignore that. This is not something that was a goof up. It's all blue. While the controller that is driving or commandeering the bone, manipulating the bone, the controller it's not blue. It's clean. That's how you know you did it right. If I select this bone, it's blue. If I select the corresponding controller, it is not blue. That's how we know. So I'm gonna grab this controller, I'm gonna shift select this bone, I'm gonna click on parent constraint. As you can see, this bone is in blue. Its controller is not in blue. Anyway, I'm gonna do that. Select this, shift select that. I'm gonna press G as in George because that repeats the last command. Boom. The bone is blue. The controller is not blue. The controller manipulates the bone now. Ta-da! As it should be. The controller, right, will also move the bone. So the parent constraint allows you to rotate the bone. The parent constraint allows you to move the bone. That's what the parent constraint means. Multi-purpose. Next, I'm gonna grab. So let me just double check. Blue. I'll grab this controller. Shift select this bone. Right. You select it like this. You can either grab the shaft, or you can grab shift select the nub. It's the same thing. You do not grab here, obviously. So I grab the controller, shift select the bone. As you can see, press G as in George in blue. Ignore this, leave this alone. Next, I grab this controller. As you can see here, this controller. I shift select the nub for it, which is here. Right? It grabs the whole thing, don't worry about that, because it's a segue joint. Right? It connects up and down. I'm gonna press G. There we go. Now, if I grab this, right, this segue, pop, 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 it's fine. Then, like I said, I'm gonna go towards the root joint. Even though I don't need to by now, but I still will. I grab this controller, I shift select the bone, press G. I grab this controller, shift select the bone, press G. Grab this controller, shift select the bone, press G. I'm going to grab this controller, shift select the bone, press G. I'm going to grab the root, the COG controller, which is this one, right? Shift select the bone, which is the root joint, press G. So as you can see, the root joint will also be parent constrained to the COG controller. Remember, the COG controller goes with the root joint. As you can see, when I select the root joint, it's in blue. It's fine, it's good. I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna select this controller. I can press Q to hide the move tool. I'm gonna shift select the corresponding bone nub, press G. I'm gonna grab this controller, shift select the corresponding bone nub, press G. Grab this controller, shift select the bone nub, press G. Grab this controller, shift select the bone nub, press G. Grab this controller, right, this controller, shift select the bone nub, press G. This one, I think I already did this, so I'm gonna select the bone for it. Yeah, good. So that's already set. All of that is set. As you can see, ba da 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 da, ba 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 ba, and then this is the root joint parent constraint. See how the naming follows through? So that's how you do that. If I test it, right, the way you test the joint articulation, you select from the top, go down the chain, shift selecting down the chain, shift selecting down the chain, press E as in Edward, and boom, boom, boom. Right, this is the controller, not the bones being manipulated. Perfect. Like that. I can test, say, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Press E. See? Perfect. I can grab this, press W, I can move. Right? I can grab a whole chunk, like this much. I can yank it. I can freaking rotate it. I can do this, like that. See how crazy it is? Right? But it's a stable rig at the time, at this moment, because if I grab all these controllers, if I type in 0, even though you don't see anything here, because these guys are not, no data in here being manipulated, I can just highlight all of that, press 0, and press enter, and now it goes back to default. This is what I mean by this is becoming more and more of a stable, functional rig. A simple rig, but it is functional. So I did all of that, all the controllers. If I select the bone, you'll notice it's all in blue, blue, blue. There you have it. That's the parent constraint. In the previous videos, old ones, I've done parent constraint as well as orient constraint, but this time around, just to save headache, right? All parent constraint. Keep it streamlined and simple. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Grab this controller, shift select the corresponding bone nub, press G. Grab this controller, shift select the bone nub, press G. Grab this controller, shift select the bone nub, press G. Grab this controller, shift select the bone nub, press G. Grab this controller, right? Shift select the bone nub, press G. Grab this controller, shift select the bone nub, press G. Right? Then I can grab, I'm gonna go towards the root, right? Going down the chain this way. Grab this controller, right? This controller. Shift select the corresponding bone nub, right? Here and here. Press G. Grab this controller. Shift select the corresponding bone nub. Press G. Grab this controller. Shift select the bone nub. Press G. Grab this controller. Shift select the bone nub. Press G. As you can see, everything's getting neatly connected like so. Now, if I grab the root or the COG and I move it around, we're almost done. I'm gonna hold shift, I'm gonna click it in the box that collapses the entire stack, like so. I'm gonna hold shift, I'm gonna close it like so. You will notice that the constraints, the red chain icon, they're all inside of the bones, the bone chain hierarchy. They are not inside of the controller hierarchy. Just wanted to mention that. So, believe it or not, this is pretty much for all the main controllers. The global controllers afterwards. So I'm going to end the video. What's going to happen is the next video is going to be talking about creating groups to help organize and maintain the whole system, right? Creating groups, and then that'll lead into a couple other steps, and this rig is pretty much almost done already, nearly done. So that's the end of this video. Bye.